Welcome back, 3D students. In this video, we're going to get started modeling the sword. We're going to create a project folder for it. So let's get started. It's advisable when you're using 3D Max to use the project folder structure. When you open 3D Max, it creates a project folder in your Documents folder automatically. But you can create your own project folders for each project. And you really want to do that to hold all the images and textures and things that you might use for that particular project. And also so that you have a separate set of backup files for that particular project, since 3D Max backs up automatically in the background while you're working. So to create a project folder, you come up to the File, the main menu, and you click File, and you find Project. And what you want to create is a default project folder. So click that button, and then your Windows Explorer will pop up, and then you're going to want to go to your Documents folder over here on the left-hand side of the Explorer, and you're going to want to open up your class folder here, double-click it, and then inside here we're going to create a new folder. To do that, you click this button right here in the Explorer, and we're going to name this Sword, and then we're going to push Enter. And then we're going to click once on that sword folder to make sure it's selected, and click Select Folder. Now you'll see in this little area right here, this window, which tells you what your current project folder is, you'll see that you're currently in the Sword project folder. If you open up that folder, you will see that 3D Max has created all these other folders inside there that it's going to use while you're working on this project. Alright, so let's make a sword. So we're going to come to the command panel here. We're going to click Box, and we're going to create a box. And it should look about like that. Now, it's always a good idea when you're modeling to center whatever you're making in your world. So let's activate the Move tool by pushing W on your keyboard. You can also click this button right here, or alternatively, you can right-click and select the tool right here in the quad menu. Either way, activate the Move tool. And then come down here to the Coordinates menu down here below your timeline and zero out by right-clicking on the spinner buttons those numbers, or you can just type in 0. And that centers your object in the world. The next thing we need to do is turn on edged faces in your display settings. So come up here to the upper left hand corner of your display window and click default shading and turn on edged faces. Now let's go to the Modify tab, because we have to give our box some more subdivisions. We already worked with length, width, and height here, and I generally like to round these up. So this is 26. I'm just going to round it up, or round it off, basically. Now we also have length segments, width segments, and height segments. This is going to subdivide our object into more objects. So let's give it one length segment and one width segment, just like that. Now, if we don't have enough segments here at the beginning, that doesn't matter. We can add them as we move forward using other tools. But as you can see, this box that was composed of 6 faces is now composed of 2, 4, 20 to 4, 24 faces. Alright, so let's add an Edit Poly modifier to this so we can access these subdivisions that we created here. Going to go to the Modify list right here, Modifier list, and click it. And we can just start typing in Edit, and that sorts all the things, all the modifiers, to the ones that have these letters in them. And we want Edit Poly. Now that we've added that, we can access the polygons, vertices, and edges that make up this box. Now, to do that, you click these buttons. This activates vertices, and you can see them right here. You can see the little dots. And when you, while it's active, you cannot select anything else in the scene except this object, the vertices on this object. So in order to do something else, you need to turn it off. And turn it off by clicking on it again. That's called going to the top level. We can also access the edges by entering edge mode. We can move those around as needed. And we can access the polygons by clicking polygon mode. Sometimes you'll move them by accident like that. If you do, hit Control Z to undo. Now we can also switch modes up here in the modifier itself. If you see this little, you can see this little triangle here. If you click that, by clicking on any one of these, you switch modes. We can also turn off our subobject mode that we're in here by clicking the top level of the modifier, like that. That's called going to the top level. And we can also switch modes here, as long as we're in an Edit Poly modifier, by pushing 1, that goes to vertex mode, 2, edge, 3, border, 4, polygon, 5, element on your keyboard, the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only problem is you can't go to the top level without either clicking this button again or clicking up here. In other words, there is no shortcut to exit subobject mode on the keyboard. One final thing before we end this video and begin modeling our sword. Let's go ahead and save our scene in our new project folder here. Let's go to File, Save As, and notice we are in our Sword Scenes folder right here. You can see that, Documents, 3DMA, Sword Scenes, and let's just name this Sword. I always like to add a number on my different scene files so that I can return to an earlier version if I need to, and then just push Enter. Alright, so in the next video, when we return, we will begin to extrude the parts of the sword, and I'll see you then.